Are your smart devices spying on you? Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're tackling a topic that has been raising eyebrows across the world. Are your smart devices spying on you? From smart speakers to fitness trackers, we're more connected than ever. But does that connectivity come at the cost of our privacy? Stick around as we dive into how these devices work, what kind of data they collect, real-life privacy breaches, and most importantly, what you can do to protect yourself. Let's get into it. To understand why people are so concerned about privacy, we need to look at how smart devices have evolved over the past couple of decades. It all started with a few gadgets that could connect to the internet, but today, almost every device in your home can be smart. We've gone from having one or two smart devices to entire smart homes. Everything from light bulbs and thermostats to refrigerators and even vacuum cleaners can now connect to the internet, collect data, and learn from your habits. This evolution has brought us a lot of convenience. But it's also raised a big question. How much do these devices really know about us? Before we can understand the privacy risks, we need to know how these devices actually work. At a basic level, most smart devices have sensors and microphones that allow them to gather information. That data is then processed either locally on the device or sent to a cloud server. Take a smart speaker, for example. It listens for a wake word like Alexa or Hey Google. Once it hears that, it starts recording and sends the voice data to a server where it's processed, analyzed, and turned into actions like playing music or giving you the weather forecast. It all sounds pretty straightforward, but there are still times when these devices are listening even when they shouldn't be. And that's where privacy concerns come into play. Let's break down what kind of data smart devices are actually collecting. Depending on the device, the data can range from your voice commands to your location, browsing habits, and even your daily routines. Voice data location, data browsing habits, activity logs, biometric data, home, security footage. Your smart TV might be tracking what shows you watch. Your smart thermostat might know when you're home or away. And your fitness tracker can even collect data about your sleep patterns. It's a lot of information, and it begs the question, are companies collecting more data than they really need? Most tech companies will say they collect data to improve user experience. But what does that actually mean? Let's break it down. Collecting data allows companies to offer personalized services. For example, if your smart speaker knows you listen to the news every morning, it will start suggesting your favorite news channel without you asking. But there's another side to it: advertising. Ever wondered how you see ads for something you just talked about with a friend? That's because companies can create detailed profiles based on your behavior. They might not be spying in the traditional sense, but they're definitely tracking and analyzing your data. And in some cases, they're even selling this information to third-party companies. Let's talk about some real-life examples where smart devices overstep their boundaries. These cases range from minor inconveniences to serious breaches of privacy. 1. Smart speakers recording conversations and sending them to random contacts. 2. Hackers accessing security camera feeds and streaming them online. 3. Smart TVs tracking user habits and selling data to advertisers without consent. 4. Fitness trackers accidentally revealing sensitive health data to employers. These cases have one thing in common. They showed us just how vulnerable our data can be, and they serve as a reminder to be more cautious with how we use these devices. You've probably heard of data breaches, but have you ever thought about where that data goes? Sometimes it ends up on the dark web, where it can be bought and sold for malicious purposes. From usernames and passwords to home addresses and even banking information, everything has a price on the dark web. And if your smart devices aren't secure, you could be at risk. It's a scary thought, but the good news is that there are ways to protect yourself. Now let's get practical. Here are some steps you can take to protect your privacy when using smart devices. Read privacy policies and adjust settings. Turn off unnecessary features and microphones. Use strong passwords and enable two-factor authentication. Keep your devices updated and secure your network. Review permissions regularly and delete old data. Use a virtual private network, VPN. Consider smart hubs that prioritize privacy. These actions might take a few extra minutes, but they can make a huge difference in keeping your data safe. One of the biggest questions is how governments are responding to these privacy concerns. In recent years, we've seen new regulations like GDPR in Europe and the CCPA in California, which give consumers more control over their data. These regulations require companies to be more transparent about what data they collect and give users the right to request deletion of their data. But enforcement is still a challenge, and there's a long way to go before we see comprehensive global privacy protections. So, while regulations are a step in the right direction, it's still important for individuals to be proactive. As smart devices get even smarter, privacy concerns will continue to grow. Companies are working on ways to build more secure and transparent devices, but it's up to us to stay informed and demand better practices. Will the future bring a balance between convenience and privacy? Only time will tell. Thanks for sticking with me through this deep dive into smart devices and privacy. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on future content. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Do you trust your smart devices, or do you feel like you're being watched? Let's start a conversation. Until next time.